Hai, welcome to Kremés podcast.
Podcast yang paling receh and garing, but maybe informative too, depending on the day.
I'm T.
And I'm A.
Semoga podcast ini bisa nemenin lo.
And hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello guys, welcome back to Kremés podcast. You're with just me today, T, your host for this session. We have just got a whole bunch of different, questions throughout the past, 33 episodes we've been releasing now, goodness gracious, about, a lot of different topics, but one of the bigger themes that we get a lot of response from is all our educational-related chats, whether it be, life, studying in Australia versus the Indo, pengalaman kita, what we wish we knew then when we just first started studying in Australia, and obviously that could mean, things like uni in Australia, or even, going to high school, or maybe even for, middle school or something. So I guess obviously everyone's in different stages of their lives, and it's just so interesting to see how there's been a lot of interest in both, I would say, Indonesians coming to Australia for study, but also Australians coming to Indonesia for study. So there's an interesting mix of both, and it's really great to see that there is still, even though we're currently living in a COVID situation where things are a lot more difficult untuk bisa terbang sana sini dan juga bisa study abroad gitu, tapi it's still great to see that there is still a lot of interest, and hopefully post-COVID, whenever that may be, these things will go back to normal. But for the purpose of today's chat, just wanted to focus on, a very, very high-level chat about scholarships and similar opportunities for those people who are interested in either studying in Australia or Indo. Jadi kalau kalian ingin belajar atau bekerja di ranah Australia, Indonesia, ada lumayan banyak sih beasiswa ya, dan peluang bagi warga Australia atau warga Indo juga untuk bisa belajar, bekerja, magang, dan kegiatan lain-lainnya di Indo dan di Aussie ya. Jadi obviously wanted to just really put a full disclaimer that this is based on my knowledge only, and just by a quick Google. But obviously, a lot of the information can change, can be updated, and given, again, we're in a whole COVID situation, it's kind of tricky. So we really highly recommend that you guys do your own research. And if you're interested in any of the opportunities that I will list in this episode, feel free to Google them just to double check that, things like deadlines or eligibility status or any other information is still correct and up to date as well. Jadi make sure ya guys, periksa situs web untuk informasi terkini mengenai program yang kita akan membahas, and just to make sure that it's all up to date. So without further ado, I guess I want to talk about one of the major ones right now ya untuk warga Australia ini ya, especially for undergrad students, jadi yang finishing up mungkin S1 or their initial degree, yaitu the New Colombo Plan. Now this is a very, very big scholarship program, and I think it was released with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, so it's really huge. It's a government sort of initiative, and it's Australia-wide. It's for Australian undergrads that and they also have two programs. They have a scholarship program untuk beneran bisa just fully belajar, and they also have a mobility program which is more for internships or study abroad experiences, but there's just a lot of flexibility in a New Colombo Plan, so we really recommend you check it out to see which one suits you. The scholarship program is for study of up to I think a year, and internships or mentorships, whereas the mobility program offers grants for both short and long-term study, internships, mentorships, practicums, research, dan lain-lainnya. Jadi there's really something for everyone for New Colombo if you're an Australian citizen. So I recommend that you go to www.dfat.gov.au, so dfat.gov.au, and then in that website search for the New Colombo Plan. New as in baru, New, Colombo, Colombo, and plan, PLAN. So check that one out first because there's a lot of opportunities from there. Secondly, if you're more interested in about, exchange programs, AYEP is really great. AYEP yaitu Australia Indonesia Youth Exchange Program. It's an exchange program for both Australians and Indonesians aged about 21 to 25 years of age. It's also offered by DFAT. And the program aims to grow more sort of things like intercultural skills, professional experiences, international relations, that kind of thing. And you get to participate in a lot more, personal and professional development workshops, sessions, seminars, where you get to hear talks from some really, really amazing people, both ministers to more startup owners or people who are, successful in the whole intercultural space. So it's a really cool thing to participate in. You get to also, have some fun with it and maybe learn about each other's culture through, song or dance or even food. So a really great program there. So check that out. Same website, dfat.gov.au, but Google, so in that website, try to search AIYEP, IYEP, for the Australia Indonesia Youth Exchange Program. For those of you who are particularly interested in learning about the Indonesian language, or the art and culture space, there is, a scholarship program called the Dharma Siswa Indonesian Scholarship Program. It's offered by the Embassy of Indonesia, and it aims to increase interest in the Indonesian language, arts and culture among young people. So it's offered to basically all non-Indonesian students who come from countries which have diplomatic relations with Indonesia. So definitely Australian students are eligible to apply. Participants will have the opportunity to study, obviously, Bahasa Indonesia, but also learn things like, dances, the different dialects of Bahasa Indonesia, arts, culture. So I know a friend who learnt different tari-tarian. So she learnt tari Saman, tari Bali, that kind of different, traditional Indonesian dances. And I know another friend through this program learnt how to membatik, so as in how to, use the traditional method of the wax technique to make batik pattern in clothing and textiles. So you get a whole really, really broad, it's really up to you as to what you want to get out of it, but you can be placed in any Indonesian university, really, and I think there's about 70 plus universities across Indonesia. So a really, really great broad program. And to find out more about the Dharma Siswa program, go to www.embassyofIndonesia.org. So again, it's run by the Indonesian Embassy. So check it out. Australia, you're definitely eligible. So just go to go to your local city's Indonesian Embassy website, and you should be able to find the Dharma Siswa program. Another scholarship is the UN Krone Asian Awareness Scholarship, and it's really aiming to deepen the awareness of Asia among young Australians. So scholarships are open to Australians up to the age of 35, but they have to be a member of the Australian Institute of International Affairs. So if you're interested in that one, really, maybe more for all of your international relations people studying that degree or interested in that space, go to www.internationalaffairs with an S at the end .org.au, and that's the UN Krone Asian Awareness Scholarship. Don't worry, we'll probably type all this out in the captions below or in the post which we will publish usually on Fridays. Going down the list, if you are in Victoria, I know there's a really great program called the Mangold Study Abroad Scholarship. And it's really about, Victorian tertiary students to travel overseas to a university for language exchange. So you have to kind of, obviously be somewhat proficient or have basic understanding of, in this case, Bahasa Indonesia. And this program is really all about really, deepening your knowledge of the language, but also fostering greater cultural understanding. So making sure that, obviously being straight in Indonesia, you get to really experience all that. And to find out more, go to Mangold Trust. So that's mangoldtrust.org.au. I know for those of you who are more interested in, non-degree stuff, more study abroad projects or things that are not really tied to an actual degree that you do at university, but you're still interested in arts and culture, there is the Indonesian Arts and Culture Scholarship, and it's really just a non-degree program to learn more about Indonesian culture through the learning of dance, music, crafts, and many other forms of arts. And I think it accepts participants from 77 countries around the globe to experience Indonesia's immensely diverse arts and cultural heritage. So if you're interested in that one, go to kemlu.go.id, so KEMLU.go.id, and search for IACS, the Indonesian Arts and Culture Scholarship. I know that there's, for those of you who are, really interested in the more working aspects, so really getting into Indonesia and getting deep into things like the language, journalism, development, business, law, agriculture, sustainable tourism, international relations, all that kind of stuff. There's a program called, I call it ACICIS, or ACICIS, ACICIS, which is the Australian Consortium for In-Country Indonesian Studies. And it's really, the program is, you will be, whether or not you're completing as part of your degree or you actually join in a separate ACICIS study program, you get to really be on site, on the ground, working with the people directly. So it's great for those of you who are, in journalism, in business, law, even agriculture, tourism, and international relations. So that's a really great program, and I know that they're quite generous with their financial support as well. So to find out more, go to www.acicis.edu.au. So that's a pretty long list of the opportunities that I know of if you're Australian and interested in going to Indonesia for more of a language, culture, but also degree or non-degree related, and also more, business and international relations kind of thing. There's so much out there, so I really recommend that you check it out, because if you're more, for example, into journalism, I know that there's something called the Elizabeth O'Neill Award, and it's open for, to high achieving journalists, both in Indonesia and Australia. So, it's really just that award to provide more support and to encourage accurate and informed media coverage to foster mutual understanding between Australia and Indonesia, which sounds really great. So check that out. And for those of you who are, again, more interested in non-degree stuff, just being part of, for personal, professional development or leadership, there is things like the IEP, or things like the Indonesia Australia Alumni Forum, and a whole bunch of other things such as the ASEAN Australian Strategic Youth Partnership, so the ASIP, and that's really cool as well, so definitely check that out. So for the guys that yang di Indo, Indonesians interested in coming to Australia, obviously, the first suggestion that I would make is each Australian university would have their own set of scholarships welcoming international citizens. Australia is pretty much one of the most popular international study destinations in the world. And we here, I think in 2018, welcomed almost close to 1 million international students nationwide. So it's really great. Obviously from an economics point of view, international students really help our economy. And unfortunately, with COVID, it's just been quite rough and quite unstable at the moment. But definitely, once things have stabilized, definitely check it out if you're interested. Kalian yang di Indo yang penasaran untuk mau belajar di sini di Aussie, ada lumayan banyak. So I'm just gonna, just put a quick list. There is obviously so many universities in Australia, so I'll just do a few, and definitely, depending on which uni you want, go to their direct website and look for scholarships for international students directly, because some of this information may change or may no longer be accurate. Jadi, kita mulai di Canberra ya. Canberra yaitu Australian capital and this part of the ACT, Australian Capital Territory. One of the big universities there is called ANU, Australian National University. There is such thing as a ANU Excellent Scholarship Program. So that offers things like 5,000 Australian dollars off tuition fees and discounts in tuition fees. There is the ANU Global Diversity Scholarship, and that's like $25,000 per year for up to 2 years. Moving on to Queensland, University of Queensland has the Indonesia Global Leaders Scholarship. And it's about $5,000 to $10,000 for the first semester of study for students in business, economics, and law. University of Adelaide has a Global Citizens Scholarship, and that's sort of like a fee reduction in your tuition of about 15 to 30% for each year for an undergrad or postgrad program, which is pretty cool. University of Sydney, which is obviously Sydney is one of the more popular cities, di Aussie. They've got things like, the Vice Chancellor International Scholarship. That's a pretty big one, and untuk yang transkripnya lumayan bagus ya, jadi angka-angkanya lumayan tinggi, bisa coba apply untuk ini. You can get from $5,000 to $40,000 based on your academic merit. So definitely check that one out. Untuk kalian yang ingin belajar bisnis ya, there is the Business School International Scholarship from the University of Sydney, and that's about $5,000 to $20,000 for students enrolling in undergrad or postgrad business programs. So definitely check that out for University of Sydney. Monash University, they've got an International Merit Scholarship, they've got an Engineering Excellence Scholarship, and they've got a Leadership Scholarship as well. So check that out. I think they're about a couple of thousand as well, so like about $10,000 of financial support per year for the duration of your degree. So that's pretty cool. I know that the Monash International Leadership Scholarship is like entirely free, so 100% of your course fee will be paid, which is like really, really cool. So definitely check that one out. Untuk yang kalian yang penasaran untuk ke Melbourne ya, jadi Monash kan ya di Melbourne, tapi University of Melbourne yaitu UniMel juga lumayan popular. There's the Melbourne International Undergraduate Scholarship, and that's about $10,000 to $50,000 worth of tuition fees. So that one's really, really big. I think these are all really, really, the financial side of it is pretty big, so they're very supportive. Untuk kita di Perth, untuk yang kalian yang ingin ke Perth, one of the closest cities dari Jakarta ya, so big plus there. There's UWA, the University of Western Australia. We have got the Global Excellence Scholarship. So we give you, I guess, not we, but the university provides funding up to, I think, $45,000 based on your academic merit. Jadi ya at the end of the day, tergantung angka kalian ya, tapi ya coba ya untuk kerja keras. Jadi academic transcript kalian bisa sebagus mungkin, because that will really increase your chances of getting maximum funding from a scholarships point of view. Back again to Sydney, we've got University of New South Wales. They have an international scholarship. I think it's only for the business school though, so double check. And they can help you again financially with undergrad and postgrad programs. Melbourne, there is also RMIT, which is more, I guess, technique related ya. Jadi for Indonesian students specifically, they have a Science, Engineering and Health Merit Scholarship, and they provide you with some fees if you're planning to study in either engineering, health and biomedical sciences or general science programs. Going back to Perth, we have got Kartini. Kartini is a very popular university choice amongst Indonesians law. So Kartini has got a bunch of, I guess, faculty specific scholarships. So like if you're doing engineering or if you're doing accounting, if you're doing something else. So definitely check the Curtin website directly to find out if there is any scholarships available that you're eligible for, because it really depends on your jurusan. Also in Perth, Murdoch University, we got a really, really strong international student population there. They have the International Welcome Scholarship, and you get up to $12,000 help in your tuition fees, but that's awarded over 4 years. So that could be helpful, because usually the duration of your degree is about 3 to 4 years anyway, so that's really helpful. That's pretty much it, I guess. I mean, there's, University of South Australia, and they also have the Vice Chancellor Excellence Scholarship, which is about 50% of your tuition fees paid, which is very, very helpful. So again, definitely check out the individual university websites of the universities that you're interested in applying to. So that can be really, really helpful. Another website that could be really interesting is called the Australia Awards, and this is another big one, just like the New Colombo Plan. They have a whole bunch of different types of scholarships and fellowships on offer for different stages of your career or for your study career, so like undergrad, postgrad, PhD, dan lain-lainnya. So definitely check that out by going to Australia Awards with an S at the end. So definitely check that out by going to Australia Awards with an S at the end, Indonesia. So australiaawards.indonesia.org. And that will take you to all their menu of different scholarships on offer. There is also, I know, one about the if you're interested in agriculture, the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, or the ACIAR, they also have a really, really big Australia Award scholarship for the next generation of leaders who are interested in that kind of study, and obviously because agriculture is a big sector in Indo. So check that out by going to aciar.gov.au. And in terms of, I guess, awards, in terms of the Australia Awards, there are those for Australians and there are those for Indonesians. So I guess it works well both ways. I think another one that's really interesting is the Hadi Susastro Prize. I'm not 100% familiar with that, but I know it's obviously an Indonesian recipient who gets that prize. And it's usually for someone who's undertaking high-level research. And they get to continue their research and develop their skills further at an Australian university. So check that out. Check out the Hadi Susastro Prize. I don't really have a website for it, so I'm not really sure, but just try to Google it. I know it's a really big prize. It offers up to $25,000 for one male and one female person per year. So just check it out. Hadi, jadi HADI, Susastro, SOESASTRO prize. So just check that out, and they should, whatever their website is, should be able to kasih kalian formulir aplikasinya dan juga petunjuk aplikasinya. So that would be really cool to check out. So that's a pretty extensive list. Look, this is really based on, I guess, my knowledge, which is obviously quite limited and also probably out of date, given that I haven't been in this whole, study scholarship space for some time now. But again, really, really recommend that you check it out yourselves and do your own research, whether it be university-specific scholarships for both Australians and Indonesians, and or more of the non-degree scholarships like the maybe mungkin ACICIS or AYEP, or the Australian Indonesia Forum. So definitely check everything out. There's just so much opportunity out there, and honestly, the world is your oyster. So really take charge of your career, and just check it out and see what happens. But again, really wish you all the best in all this planning. Let us know if you have any questions with any of the opportunities I've said earlier, or if you guys are recipients or past recipients of these prizes and scholarships. Let us know what the experience was like applying for it, what the experience was like, being part of it, and yeah, semoga opportunities seperti ini akan gimana ya, like with COVID and stuff. I know it's so hard. I know that there's some of them who have turned it into virtual, tapi itu karena mereka programnya cuman kayak forum, seminar, workshops gitu, bukan 100% belajar gitu ya. So it's like, I guess it really depends on the program. Sometimes they can make it fully virtual and COVID safe. Sometimes it's just not possible. So they've canceled it for now and they will see what happens post-COVID. So really check everything out. Make sure you get up-to-date information directly by, searching everything yourself. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in for this chat. Hope that you guys found it useful and we'll see you for the next one. Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Jangan lupa like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with your friends.
I'd love to hear from you. Please reach out with your comments, stories, and even questions on what we should talk about. See you in the next episode.
Bye. Dah.